Welcome to this episode of Editing with Flow. What we're going to do is we're going to transform this image over here to the right to what you see over here on the left. We're going to do it with no AI, no plugins. We're just going to be using Photoshop actions. Let's get started. So we are inside of Photoshop, and the first thing we want to do is we want to get set up with Flow. Of course, I want you to follow along, so you can use the link in the description. You can head over to my website and you can download a free version of Flow. And you can also download this image using the link in the description below, or you can use one of your own images. But to get started, the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure your actions panel is open and ready to go. My actions panel is open. It's over here to my left. That's how I work. But if you don't see actions panel, it typically floats around this area right here. You can come over to your windows and you can select actions from the drop down, and it's going to load your actions panel. Let's get out of that. Also, what you want to do with your actions panel is you want to make sure that it's set at button mode. So you want to click this hamburger menu and make sure that button mode is selected. So over here in my layers panel, I'm going to work with my background layer. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this retouch layer guide, and what this does is it just creates a grayscale overlay over the image. And what this does, it really helps with identifying the real problematic areas, so we can fix them a whole lot easier. Takes away the color. So on top of the background layer, in your instance, it may not be the background layer. It may be any layer that you want to apply frequency separation to. You definitely want to make sure that you have that layer selected. So using Flow, there are two methods for frequency separation. We're going to be using frequency separation version 2. So I'm just going to click this. I'm not going to explain what frequency separation is. You can learn about that in the extended training for Flow. More information about that in the link in the description below. I'm just going to open it and I'm going to turn off my texture layer. I'm just going to work primarily on the textures in the image. So to get started, I'm going to grab my lasso tool, keyboard shortcut L, and I'm going to make sure that my feather is set at 18%. I'm going to zoom in. And what I am going to do is I'm just going to draw an outline with my selection tool. I'm going to pay particular attention to the shape of the face. You can use a mouse, but I am using a pen tablet. I'm just going to draw. I'm going to follow the shape of the face, and I just want to blend this. And you want to make sure that you are on the colors layer. Let's scroll down, and I am looking for this. So I'm going to apply some Gaussian blur to the colors layer and watch what happens. All right, so it smoothens out the face a lot. And I'm going to repeat this to several areas of the face. And we are done with our skin softening. So what we're going to focus on next, we're going to focus on our textures. We're just going to remove some of these small blemishes that our model has on her face. And to do that, just to see all of the blemishes effectively, I'm going to double click right here on my retouch guide. I'm just going to drag the red slider over to the left, just so I can see all of the defects better. So with that done here, the image looks terrible, but trust me, there's a method to the madness. So I'm going to click on the texture layer and I'm going to grab my clone stamp tool. I'm going to make my brush a bit smaller, but my flow is going to be set at 50%. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to slowly paint away some of these blemishes and defects. So for the sake of time, I'm going to speed this up. Okay, so we are done with our skin retouching. So we flattened the skin a bit and we removed most of the blemishes. Let's have a quick look at the before and the after. So now what we're going to work on is we're going to work on bringing back some of the depth in the face. We're going to do a little bit of dodging and burning. And to do that, I'm going to turn my guide back on. I'm going to turn off my frequency separation. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click right here on my dodge and burn. Automatically, the brush tool is going to be selected. It's set at 100%. And in the folder right over here, we have our burn layer and our dodge layer. We're just going to focus primarily on the dodging. So dodging refers to lightening areas of the image, and burning refers to darkening certain areas of the image. So I'm just going to draw these lines. Over the highlight areas that I want to enhance. All right, so now I'm going to focus on the burning. So I'm going to pay attention right here to the corners of the nose. We can form a great contour right here under the nose. And I'm going to speed this up. All right, so this looks like a complete mess, but I'll fix that in a sec. So I'm just going to turn off my guide, and the mask for my dodge layer, I'm going to just double click and adjust to the feather. Just going to slide over here to the right until everything blends. And I'm going to do the same thing to the dodge layer. Till everything blends the way I like it. I'm going to turn on the frequency separation layer. Let's have a quick look at the before. So this is our starting point. This is with our frequency separation applied, and this here is with our dodging and burning applied. So on top of the dodge, on top of the frequency separation layer, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grade the skin just a bit. So I'm going to come over here to this section over here, and I'm going to click the basic light. So I'm just going to start painting. I'm going to make sure I have a big enough brush. And inside our light skin grade, I'm going to make sure that my foreground color is set to white. I'm just going to paint over the skin. And we are done. So let's zoom out. Let's have a quick look at the before and the after. That's where we started. And this is where we are currently at. So our next step, and this is completely optional, is we're going to whiten the eyes. And we're going to make sure that I am on top of this layer right here, the light skin grade. And I'm going to click on clean eyes and teeth. Our brush is selected for us automatically. So I'm going to twirl down the teeth whitening layer, and I'm going to head down to my blue filter. Zoom in. I'm going to set my flow to 20. And I'm just going to paint on the white. You want to make sure that your foreground color is set to white. Just going to gently paint away some of the yellow and the green in the eyes. Okay, so you're making great progress. So now what we're going to do is just going to give it some shine and some pop. I'm going to click right here on my dodge and burn light. This is just a light version of dodge and burn. It's definitely going to boost the contrast. I'm going to click it. Going to increase my brush flow to 100%. I'm going to make my brush bigger, and I'm just going to paint over the skin. And that instantly caused our face to pop, all of our good features to pop. And so far, our model looks great. Let's zoom in, zoom out, and have a look at the before and after. So now what we want to do is we want to like focus on the background. And for that, I'm going to head up and I'm going to scroll down to my moods. And the mood I want to apply to this would be the deep browns. I'm just going to click on it. It's going to apply to the entire image. So I like the way that it looks. You know what? I think I'm going to swap this. So let me just delete. I'm just going to delete the share real quick. And I'm going to apply the deep browns. All right, there we go. It was applied to the entire image. I don't want it applied to the entire image. I definitely don't want it on her skin, or I don't want it on the clothing either. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to make sure that I am on the layer mask for my deep browns layer. And I'm going to switch my foreground color to black. I'm going to set my flow to 90%. I'm going to remove it from her skin. Going to remove it from my hair also. So it will only be affecting the green and some of the blues in the sky. So to slow gradual build up, let's have a look at the before and the after. All right, so I want to add to the effect. So I am going to apply my blue crush. You can apply as many of these as you wish and experiment. And you can remove it with your brush tool when you paint on the mask. But I'm going to apply my blue mix, my blue crush mix. Once again, it's applied to the skin also. I don't want it applied to the skin. So again, I'm going to just grab my brush and my foreground color is set to white. I'm just going to remove it from the skin. So I don't want to go overboard with the image. I like how it looks. Once again, let's backtrack. Let's have a quick look at the before. And here is the after we made our edits with Flow. All right, everything looks great. This is just one video in a series of many where I show you how to use free Photoshop tools to take your images to the next level and make your workflow a whole lot easier. So if you got a specific topic you'd like me to cover with Flow, just drop a comment below. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll never miss a new video. And if you want to dive deeper, you can check out the extended training for Flow in the description below. So until next time.